You've probably heard of the Shah of Iran, but who exactly was he? What made him such an influential figure? And why does his name still spark so much debate today? What exactly happened during his reign? How did the Shah shape the history of Iran? Let's dive into his incredible journey. Mohammad Reza Pahlavi was born on October 26, 1919 in Tehran, Iran, during a time of great political unrest. His father, Reza Shah Pahlavi, became the ruler of Iran in 1925 after seizing power through a military coup. Reza Shah was an ambitious man, determined to modernize Iran, and he introduced many reforms aimed at industrializing the country. But while these changes brought progress, they also came with a growing authoritarian rule. When World War II broke out, Reza Shah was forced to abdicate. The Allies, fearing that Iran might align with Nazi Germany, pressured him to step down. This led to the unexpected coronation of his son, Mohammad Reza, as Shah of Iran in 1941 at just 22 years old. At first, Mohammad Reza was seen as a weak and inexperienced leader, heavily influenced by his Western allies, especially the United States and the United Kingdom. But soon he began to carve out his own path, seeking to modernize Iran and assert his power on the world stage. Although he didn't have much political experience at first, Mohammad Reza was well educated. He studied both in Iran and Europe. He started his education in Tehran, where he developed an interest in history and politics. Later, he attended the prestigious Institut Le Rosey in Switzerland, a school known for its famous alumni. There, he learned European languages and cultural practices, which would influence his worldview and his relationships with the West during his reign. While his political life was full of ups and downs, Mohammad Reza Shah's personal life also played an important role in shaping his public image. The Shah was married 3 times. His first marriage in 1939 was to Fazia Fuad, the sister of the King of Egypt. This marriage was symbolic of Iran's desire to strengthen ties with the Arab world, but it wasn't a happy one, and they divorced in 1948. From this marriage, the Shah had one daughter, Shahnaz Pahlavi. His second marriage in 1951 was to Soraya Esfandiari Bakhtiari, a beautiful Iranian-German woman. However, their union was short-lived. The royal court pressured them to have children, but Soraya was unable to provide the Shah with an heir. In 1958, they divorced, marking a particularly tough period in the Shah's personal life. In 1959, the Shah married Farah Diba, an Iranian architect and beauty queen, who would become the final and most famous queen of Iran. Together, they had 4 children, Reza, Farnaz, Ali, and Layla. Farah Diba played a crucial role as queen, influencing Iran's modernization efforts and becoming a prominent public figure. Their marriage became a symbol of the Shah's vision for a modern, progressive Iran. In the 1960s, the Shah launched his White Revolution, a series of sweeping reforms aimed at modernizing Iran and transforming its economy. These included land reforms, women's suffrage, and efforts to industrialize the country. The Shah promised to modernize Iran's agriculture, improve education, and increase women's rights. These reforms were praised by the West, but they were controversial in Iran. Many poor farmers were displaced by the land reforms, and the gap between the rich and the poor widened. Women gained more rights, but conservative groups, especially religious leaders, strongly opposed these changes. While industrialization brought economic growth, it also created significant inequality. As the Shah's power grew, so did opposition to his rule. He relied heavily on his secret police, Savak, to suppress dissent. Political opponents were often silenced through intimidation, imprisonment, or torture. The gap between the ruling elite and the people deepened, and discontent began to grow among the working class, intellectuals, and the religious community. By the 1970s, Iran was a nation in crisis. The Shah's regime faced increasing criticism for its authoritarianism and close ties to the West. Meanwhile, a powerful opposition, led by Ayatollah Khomeini, a Shiite cleric in exile in France, began to gain momentum. Khomeini's messages of revolution and anti-Western sentiment resonated with many in Iran who were unhappy with the status quo. In 1979, the growing wave of protests led by Khomeini and the Revolutionary Guard forced the Shah to flee Iran. As demonstrations reached their peak, the Shah could no longer maintain control. He left Iran in January 1979, and Khomeini returned to Tehran to establish the Islamic Republic of Iran. The fall of the Shah was a dramatic and shocking moment, not just for Iran, but for the entire Middle East. Iran, once a monarchy, was now a theocratic state. The Shah's dreams of modernization were crushed, and his legacy would forever be overshadowed by the revolution that followed. The life and reign of Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi remained complex and controversial. While he certainly modernized parts of Iranian society, his regime was marked by authoritarian rule, suppression of political dissent, and growing inequality. The Shah's efforts to bring Iran closer to the West alienated many people, leading to his eventual downfall. In the end, Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi's reign ended in tragedy. The man who hoped to turn Iran into a beacon of modernization and progress was forced to flee into exile, and his country was transformed into an Islamic republic under Khomeini. His story is a powerful reminder that political power, no matter how absolute, can be fragile, especially when it fails to meet the needs of the people. So what can we learn from the life of Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi? Maybe it's that no leader is invincible, and that true stability doesn't come from foreign alliances or economic growth alone, but from a government that truly understands and meets the needs of its people. What do you think? Was the Shah a visionary who was betrayed by his people, or was he a dictator who misjudged the mood of his country? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on his legacy and how it shapes Iran today. Also, if you want to learn more about Mohammad Reza Shah and the history of Iran, make sure to like and subscribe. There's so much more to explore about this fascinating period in history, and I'll be diving deeper into the Shah's era and its aftermath in upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.